We're going to talk today about the 6 types of working genius. Oftentimes people go through personality assessments like the DISC, and it talks a lot about your temperament or your personality, how you're wired. The working genius talks about the way people get work done. And so there's 6 fundamental activities in the working genius of wonder, invention, discernment, galvanizing, enablement, and tenacity. We're going to go through those in a moment. But this is how people get work accomplished. Not only you personally, but also as a team. And as you take the working genius assessment, it will give you 2 things that are your geniuses, 2 things that are competencies or things that you're good at still. And then there's going to be 2 things called frustrations. These are skills that you may struggle to finish, or you may struggle, for instance, in this concept of tenacity. Maybe it's a frustration and you're great at starting things, but not so good at finishing things. We'll take a look at that. Let's look at the first one here in our working genius of wonder. Wonder is the natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and opportunity in a given situation. And so this is the person who asks great questions. They take a look at what's happening within the organization, and they begin to just wonder and ask the questions that need to be asked about something. Now, if you have nobody in your organization with a gift of wonder, you may just keep doing things the same way and no one ever questions why, and you may not have the deeper part of that. And then goes the gift of wonder would lead into the gift of the genius of invention. And that is someone who has the natural gift of creating original and novel ideas and solutions. So as someone has the genius of wonder, they're asking great questions. The person hears that with the genius of invention, and they're like, "Hey, we can do this with it," and then they create this novel idea. The genius of discernment is the one who has the natural gift of intuitively and distinctively evaluating these ideas and situations. And so let's say someone has the genius of invention, but you have nobody on your team with the genius of discernment. You might have great ideas that are be putting out there, and maybe your organization or your group is running through a project, but you have no one with the genius of discernment, and so the project really is not that good, and no one was there to kind of pause it or stop it. And then you have the genius of galvanizing. This is the natural gift of rallying people, inspiring and organizing others to take action. You're getting people on board with this project. You're getting people fired up for this project. Then you have the last 2 of the genius of enablement, the natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance for an idea or project. And so this is someone who is that role player. They just provide a support, and they provide the assistance needed to get projects accomplished. And then lastly, like I mentioned before, the genius of tenacity is the natural gift of pushing projects or tasks to completion to achieve results. And so again, you have 2 geniuses, 2 competencies, and 2 frustrations in this. But let's take a look to see how it may work in other aspects. So let's look here. This is a team map. And so if you did this as a team, we would map everybody on your team with their genius and their frustration. So let's take a look at a couple of these. One, the genius of wonder. Yasmin has the genius of wonder in this practice idea. But you have 3 people with the frustration of wonder. And so I guess the question is how might they interact with each other? What might that cause if only you have one person with the genius of it and 3 people with a frustration of it? Or when you go the next one down, even though it's the third one, the genius of discernment, like mentioned before, you have nobody on your team, but yet you have 3 people that it's their frustration. How might that impact your team and the growth of your team with that? It may be where, yeah, there's just a lot of bad ideas that are going forth and being led into projects and whatnot. And then, you look at the idea of galvanizing. You have 5 people that are great galvanizers, great at getting people on board, get people rallying people. Okay, so how are we going to utilize those people? You have 2 people with the genius of tenacity, Ross and Victor. We want to make sure that they are on the tail end of projects, because you might be able to look at something that had a great start, and then when the project came to be, it didn't really finish the way, it didn't really finish and seem how you wanted it to seem in this plan. Just maybe left you just feeling let down, but maybe because you didn't have the right people either finishing the project, or maybe you have nobody on your team with the genius of tenacity. And so you can look at this in all sorts of different ways. The greatest way is to for you to take it and to find your 2 geniuses, your 2 competencies and your two frustrations, it will help you understand how you work in a more effective way. And then, secondly, for your team, if you're working with five people and you can start to map these people out, you may need to know maybe that you have your HR generalist. They're great at tenacity. You need to make sure you're bringing them in at finishing projects. Or if you know someone who isn't necessarily it's their role, but Doug, he's great at bringing the group together and getting people fired up. You got to find ways for Doug to use those galvanizing geniuses and put them into practice in your organization. So this is just a fantastic way to understand how you work and how things get accomplished. This is just simply scratching the surface of this. What I want to do is just share that this can be something that you can step into. You can take the assessment at a very low cost and then get one coaching session with me to help you understand it. If you want to take it a step further and you want to bring your whole team into this process, would love to be able to help you do that. Just get a hold of me. You can reach out at Bryce at sharpenyourstrategy.com. Or you can just put a comment here on YouTube. You can send me an email, whatever it may be that works for you. You can go to my website, sharpenyourstrategy.com, and you can see how you can get connected to this. Love to have you do that. And it'd be great for you to understand this. Again, for what the cost is going to be, it's so low that the benefits of this outweigh it tremendously. And it's just it's a great way just to understand how you are, how you get work accomplished, and how your team does as well.